There's a week left to go in the transfer window, but I really don't see us making any moves. We've made a couple, but they were kind of necessary, one of which was my own fault. We have won some silverware, but it's the one competition the board cares absolutely nothing for. My name's FM Jellico, and it's time to get real. We have kept up our winning ways. After Athletic Club and CSKA Moscow, we had a friendly at Cultural Leonesa, which we kind of stumbled in, to be honest with you. Against Levante, we beat them 2-0 thanks to goals by Konstantinovic and Slimano, an extra time goal that was just salt in the wound more than anything else. In the Supercopa Semi-Cup final against Real Madrid, we shut them out 5-0. This is one of the best games we've played all season. Maria goal, Carlos Roberto a hat-trick's worth of goals, Verdonk a penalty kick. And then against Villarreal in the final, we beat them 5-1 thanks to goals by Carlos Roberto, Bostan Kadanovic, and Robert Maria had his own hat-trick's worth of goals. Let me go here real quick. They got a 53rd minute goal from Delgado, but by then it was pretty much already too late. Plus, Pascual, who is one of their better defensive players, went out right before the end of the first half, and that did not help them in the least. January got off to kind of a ho-hum start. We drew with Sevilla. I'll be honest with you, I'm not quite sure what happened in this game. We had 20 shots, 8 on target, a 61% possession advantage. They played what I would consider to be okay, but we should be able to beat an average effort, but unless we turn in a sub-average effort ourselves. And that's exactly what happened here. Veerman was on a 7-1 just by dint of his key passing. Everyone else was literally 6-9 or worse. Verdonk was on a 6-4. Maria was on a 6-5. Roberto was on a 6-4. It was just, the team had one of those days where even though, statistically speaking, we were pretty good, Sevilla's a solid team. They're not world beaters by any stretch of the imagination, but they're a solid team. And if you don't at least give a half-assed effort, you're not going to beat them. And we gave less than a half-assed effort, so we drew. Against Celta Vigo, we beat them 4-2. Carlos Roberto, a hat-trick's worth of goals. Konstantinovic, a goal. And then against Gymnastics Tarragona, in our Copa del Rey third-round match, Barry Verdonk, a goal. Robert Maria, hat-trick's worth of goals. And we beat them handily 4-0. Today is going to be a recap of the transfer window. There's only a week left. I really don't see us making any more moves. And then we're going to play Granada. I don't know why I haven't played the Zaragoza game yet. That's in a couple of days. So we're going to get through that and then come back with a recap of the transfer window. And then come back with our Copa del Rey fourth-round match against Granada. Back in a bit. Well, currently in La Liga, we are ahead by 4 points. Valencia has really fallen off. There's a significant drop-off between second and third. I mean, there's a 7-point gap there, and it's bigger than the gap between 6th and 7th. 9th and 10th, there's a 5-point gap there. So essentially, I believe you're going to have... Well, it's going to be these 7 teams here fighting it out for the top 6 spots. Currently, Carlos Roberto is our top goal scorer with 28 goals. He also has the highest average rating at 8.06. Antonio Augusto, 15 assists. Uche, the best pass completion rating. Carlos Roberto, 11 Players of the Match award. Antonio Augusto, 10 yellow cards and 2 red cards. Of our 22 matches played, our 62 goals are first best in La Liga. Our 17 goals allowed are second best. First in yellow cards. First in red cards. So, and we are on a 27-game unbeaten streak. If we beat Granada, we will have broken the record which we set last season and this season. So, transfer window-wise, nobody on the ends. There's nobody out there that I really want or need. A couple loan players I looked at, but then I decided, no, I'm going to hold off on that. There's still 5 days left. I may go back on that. Thunison is out with a pulled abdominal muscle, so I am kind of weak on the midfielder left position. But I don't want to bring in a lone player just for 3 or 4 weeks, only to have him languish on the bench the rest of the season. So on the outs, Ricardo Hernandez went to Ben Sander on loan. Sanad Spica went to CD Toledo on loan. Herdier Mutsilia, and this is the guy I screwed up. He was a defensive midfielder who is a midfielder. He's got a ton of potential, and I never found a place for him on the squad. But the thing that really made him mad and requested a transfer was that I left him off the Champions League roster twice because I had other players I needed to keep on, and if I brought him on, I would be breaking registration rules because he's from Belgium, not from Spain. He hasn't been playing in La Liga long enough. And I'm overstocked at midfielders. So as a result, he barely got a lot of games in. He did go to Juve for a loan spell, was pretty good there, and for whatever reason, he played 8 games. He had 2 assists, 1 player of the match. But, he got some decent playing time here his first season. That was more kind of a bring him on as a sub and see how well he does sort of move. We brought him from Anderlecht for 26.5. We sold him to Atletico for 24.5. They made the best offer. He really wanted to go to Arsenal. Arsenal tried lowballing me with like a 9 million offer, and he came in and pitched a complete fit. And I was like, look, I'll sell you to Arsenal for 24, and that's it. So by that point in time, he was already upset with me. He was already mad with me, and I frankly could give a rip what he wanted. Joseph Anich went to Aston Villa. They made an unsolicited offer for him, and I'm pretty okay at defensive left back now, and I was comfortable letting him go. Solid contributor for us, one of those guys who does his job and does it really well. Got him from Newcastle for 13.5, so turning around moving for 19 is not too bad. It wasn't a full-time starter, but a replacement, and he filled that role capably. And he's moving on to be a full-time starter at Aston Villa, so we'll see how he does there. And then Stade Rennais made a big push for Jad Macchiati to go out on loan, and I went ahead and let him. Like I mentioned before, I'm pretty much full up on midfielders, and he needs playing time anyways. So I don't want him to be the next Mutsilius as it was. So we've got Granada coming up next in our Copa del Rey 4th round match. So, well, let me go back here real quick. And that pretty much is our transfer window. Unless something happens between now and the 5 days it ends, I don't believe we're going to be making any more moves. So we bought a total of 198 million euros worth of players. We sold 251 million euros worth of players. Firmamala went out for 54 million. How's he doing at Hoffenheim? Where Frank Lampard is the head coach. Not too bad. 5 assists. That's a very Malo-esque performance right there. I totally forgot to do the team intros. Well, it's our standard 4-2-4, of course. You can see over here on the left, Kerma, Uche, Lens, Slimanu, Augusto, Oosterley, Verdonk, Israel, Roberto, and Maria up top as the strikers. 20 minutes in, Kerma to Augusto. Kerma's going to miss the next La Liga match because of too many yellow cards. Same with Verdonk. Roberto cuts to the middle, passes it up to Maria, who holds it up because he has to. Kerma back to Maria. Kicked away, but it goes right to Lens. All the way back to Bates. To Uche. Over to Lens. To Augusto. He pushes forward. Out to Verdonk on the left. Outside the box. Passes it to Kerma. Crosses it in. Maria's there and he scores. That was nice. I'll be honest, I don't know where these third uniforms are coming from. I think I say that every time I see these. Nice header by Maria. He's been overshadowed by Roberto this season, but he's still a quality striker. So a lot of my players were wanted this transfer window. A couple teams made offers for some of them, and they were laughable. Oh, and Augustin scores from distance. That was a nice shot. Coatsy up to Augustin, just inside the box. Bates was way too far over, left too much of the goal open. Kickoff highlight, Uche, Lens. Over to Oosterley, to Slimanu. Israel back to Oosterley. Maria on the right, gets in the box, and he's fouled. This, I believe, is going to be Verdonk. And he scores, putting us up 2-1 at 36 minutes. Nice goal. Oh, Suarez, a nice block off the Augusto kick, but Lenz is there to put it back off the carom. But he was offsides. Of course he was. And I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what I was talking about before the goal happened. It'll come back to me. Probably in like 3 months. But that is halftime here at Granada, and we are up 2-1 thanks to a brace of goals by Maria and Barry Verdonk. Oh, that's what I was talking about, Maria and Verdonk. So, Roberto and Verdonk. Roberto and Maria. So Maria's still a quality striker. He and Maria have formed quite the 1-2 combination. So even though Roberto leads us in goals, they're both doing really well. There was a case there for a little bit where they were trading off hat tricks during games. Kerma on the left. In the box, holds it up, crosses it in, knocked away, but it goes to Slamanu. Out to Uche. Back to Slamanu. He crosses it in, Ledesma knocks away. Israel to Roberto, off Suarez and in for the goal. That was a power shot. See what happened here. Oh, he didn't even let it hit the ground. He just volleyed it, pivoted on his left foot, and hit it with his right. Suarez probably could have done better stopping that. And George sees something. Augusto in again. The goal he was denied the first time goes in this time. Suarez is not having a good game. Curls it over the wall, upper bins. Probably have that wrong, don't I? Kodazar's attempt goes wide. A little past 60 minutes, we're going to make a couple changes here. Jacevski is going to come on at left back. Konstantinovic's going to come on at advanced midfielder on the left. And Giovanni Lebert, who is one of my youth players with promise, is going to come on at advanced midfielder on the right. He's primarily a striker, but he can play advanced midfielder on the right. He's literally on the squad because Thunussen's out, and I have a spot open. And he is my best 19-year-old or he's my best youth player with potential. So we're comfortably ahead in the Copa del Rey. We can get him 30 minutes of playing time. Konstantinovic has been arguing for more starting time, and I looked at him and I said, you're getting a lot of games as it is. And then I looked, and he had been in 15 games, and all of them were off the bench. So he's been getting a decent amount of starts. Benoit. Back to Diego. All the way back to Ledesma. He gets it out to Gutierrez. Jacevski dispossesses him, but the ball goes to Benoit, who crosses it in, knocked away by Uchi. Oosterley sends it up into the middle of nowhere. Ledesma's going to run it down. Diego. All the way back to Suarez. To cross. Over to Macaluso. Augustin. Drives forward. And he's fouled. Come on, Bates. Gutierrez. And Bates doesn't block it. But he is having a solid season. He's been more than a capable replacement for Lazo, who I believe has a ton of Player of the Match awards at Galatasaray. We'll check that out here after the game as well. Coming up on the end of the game, 4 minutes of extra time. Anything's possible in FM, but this should be a win for us. 24 shots, 17 on target, 62% possession advantage. Maria goal, Verdonk penalty kick, Roberto goal, Augusto goal. Against a pretty decent Granada team. So we got the 5th round draw coming up. We'll get to that and see who we're playing, and then we'll take a look at a couple other things here too. Now, Uche reached the yellow card limit for Spanish Cup competitions. How does a guy with a 20 composure get that many yellow cards? So Roberto is having a phenomenal season. He's got 29 goals on aggregate, 22 in La Liga, in 21 games played. So it's obviously more than a goal per game. His ratings are off the charts. Maria has 19 goals. Now, he scored more in the Champions League and the other continental competitions than he has in La Liga, but that's okay because as long as Roberto is there, he doesn't really need to score. He just needs to be a threat to score, and that's what he is. He's 5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. I don't know when that happened. I should have noticed that, but he is also having a phenomenal season. He and Roberto are definitely a very solid 1-2 punch. Then you have other players like Israel, who's turning into an all-around winger with 8 goals, 9 assists against all competitions. Jort Veerman has come in and done what I expected him to do, 5 goals, 3 assists. Everybody's been contributing. Well, our under-19 squad is doing really well. They've won 18, they've drawn 3, they've lost 1 in the under-19 division. They've got 74 goals for, 24 goals against on 57 points. Not quite sure where all those goals are coming from because those are the players out on loan. They're not tracking goals by players like these. Nor assists. So if I was to go to Connor McClanahan, he's got 34 goals and 11 assists in 30 games. And Leganes made a transfer bid for him, which I accepted because I want to get him some games against some better opponents. So the Copa del Rey 5th round draws today. We're going to do that and then call that an episode. So 8 teams. Barcelona is playing Betis. We are playing Villarreal. Leganes is playing Sevilla. Levante is playing Real Madrid. Villarreal is still a solid team, even though they've fallen off a little bit this year. I think they've had a couple injury issues. But they're the team that finished 2nd last year, and they gave us a run for our money. They're a quality squad. Antonio Adon is their coach. He's a very quality coach. Came from Juve. Yeah, I remember looking at him because he was kind of on the Grand Tour. He was a player. And then Granada Deportivo, Brighton, Betis. Turned to the Betis job and the Bayern job and the Juve job, and came back to Villarreal when Villarreal really started spending a ton of money on transfers and stuff like that. Can we take a look at that here real quick? So they've been very smart about their purchases, and the players they have bought have turned out fairly well for them. Roberto Fernandez is still a contributor there. They've also had a couple of youth players come up, but then they've done things like, okay, we bought one player and we sold a bunch and we've made a little bit of money. So they're obviously doing something well behind the scenes in order to be as good as they are. They're either scouting their tails off, and a lot of these guys they're bringing in on frees or low money are overperforming or doing as well as Villarreal expected, or it could be a combination of many things. All I know is they're a tough squad. They've been a tough squad for the past few years now, and even though they're in 5th place, they're still going to be a tough squad. So we are going to save the game here. Actually, no, we need to look and see who we're coming back for. We're going to come back for Villarreal Levante, then a short break, and now, what we're going to do this. We're going to come back for Villarreal. We're going to skip Levante and Deportivo and come back for the first AZ game. And then we will come back for the second AZ game in either Malaga or Getafe. Probably Getafe because they're last in the league. And it gives me a chance to rest some of my starters. And I'm okay with that. So that is what we're going to do. If you did like what you've seen and heard, please have a like, subscribe to the channel for more content. I'd be interested in any feedback you have on the transfer window or any moves I've made. Any questions, comments, criticisms, leave those down below. I will answer those as fast as I can. My name is FM John.